I'm gonna be completely honest, it's been a long time since I was this excited to review a car because, I mean, just look at this thing right here. This is the Volvo V60 T8 Polestar engineered, 455 horsepower. I've been driving it for a few days now, and I'm just gonna jump straight to the point. I love this car. I mean, there's not many things that I can find that are bad on this car. There are a couple of things in the interior features that are lacking, but I mean, look at the stunning design. This is what I want to see, and unfortunately Volvo has discontinued both the S60 and the V60 for 2025. So this is in fact the last model year for the V60 that we're going to have, at least here in the United States. Very, very sad to see. But what we're going to do in this video is have a look at this beauty of a machine. Scandinavian lines, one of the best looking wagons out there today. You have the Polestar yellow golden seat belts, and also the brake calipers looking great. We're gonna have a look at the front end design, the side view, the rear, of course the interior, and then we're gonna take this for a drive. I'm gonna show you all the drive settings that we have because I think this drivetrain is just a work of art. So let's get into it. Now, of course, one of the big deals here with the V60 T8 Polestar is this drivetrain. I think it's a fantastic setup. So what we have here is we don't have the supercharger anymore, but we do have a turbocharged four-cylinder, 2-liter four-cylinder turbo with 143 horsepower e-motor attached to the rear axle, and a total output here comes in at 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque. It's connected to an 8-speed automatic. You got all-wheel drive, of course. 0 to 60 in about 4.1 seconds. Fuel economy going in at 27 mpge. And the pricing for this is $72,835. Now, you do get up to 44 miles of pure EV range. And I think that is absolutely fantastic, because if you just take it out for a short drive, you might not want to use any fuel. You just want to, cruise around to a grocery store or something like that. Then you can use the EV range. And you can plug it in right here. This is where the plug-in power comes in. And it takes about 5 hours to charge us up to full 44 miles with a 240 charger. So honestly, I don't think it's too bad. You have a 14.9 kilowatt hour battery, and as I said, 5 hours, 0 to 100% for the battery when it's down to 0. I do like the layout here. It looks great, and look at the opening. It's almost 90-degree opening for the hood there, for the very easy access to the internal parts underneath the hood. So let's close this back down and let's talk about this stunning design that is the V60 Polestar. I mean, I think this came out in 2017, and just looking at it right now today in 2025, no major updates at all, and I still think it looks so modern. It looks so clean and crisp, chiseled design. We have the blacked out features here in the grille. Everything is blacked out except for the logo in the middle. Front mounted camera right there. Polestar engineered. Everything is open up top. Right here you have the gloss black graphics looking beautiful. Gloss black at the lower section as well. Parking sensors here. I do like the white color that we have in this case because it contrasts nicely with the golden calipers that we're going to have a look at in just a minute. Kind of wish that this area was open too. It's just a styling feature here. As you can see, I would like to see some curtains here, but looking at the beautiful headlights here, look at this chamfer, how it goes in, connects. We have another chamfer down here, so clear separation between the top half graphics up top and the lower half graphics down low with these two chamfers. You can see how it is a chamfer inside of the chamfer as well. Beautifully done, and how this then connects into the corner up here. This line goes straight into the corner of the grille, in addition to this line right here on the hood going all the way up here and then into the A-pillar. Very, very beautiful and very classy looking design from Volvo for the V60. I do like the headlight design as well. You have the Thor's hammer, of course, being intact right here with this area, and full LED headlights as well. Now, as we come around to the side view, the problem I have with cars today, a lot of cars today, the ES90, for example, you have the new 5 Series. If you look at the proportions of those cars, you can tell that they feel a little thick, they feel a little heavy, and that is because they need to put a battery pack underneath. Thankfully, this one similar to the old, if you compare the old S90 to the new ES90, you're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about. But this one still has the beautiful, sleek design that I want to see from Volvo. We have 19-inch wheels, 235mm wide tires, and you see Polestar engineered here in gold. Love it. You rarely see golden calipers. You also have these golden caps right there as well. I do like the wheel design, but probably what I would do, I would probably lower this a little bit and put 20s on there, staggered setup, just to have more of a planted look for this design. But check this out, check the line flow. We have a nice line going from the shoulder line, from the A-pillar, cutting through here, creating this nice chamfer going into the rear end. Very tight looking rear end. You can see just how short it is, creating a very nice forward motion for this design. And then in addition to that, we have this muscle going from the taillights over in here and fades into the rear passenger door, in addition to this line at the lower section, carving out some of this volume that we have in the lower section. I mean, just look at how beautiful this design is, how fluid it is, and the proportions. Again, by far one of the best looking wagons for sale right now. It's such a shame that they're discontinuing it here in the United States. You can see that we have gloss plastic for the side mirrors here, LED indicator, looking very nice. Nothing too crazy going on here. 360 camera located right there as well. And up top, we do have some roof rails blacked out here as well, in addition to the full panel sunroof up top, looking stunning. Now, let me know what you think. Can you think of a better looking wagon than this? Let me know in the comments below what that wagon would potentially be. Now, coming around to the rear, and you can see the volumes in the rear here, just how everything is being pushed forward, specifically how you see the greenhouse, this line here, how it slopes upwards in this area, and then you have this sharp shoulder line muscle going forward, creating a lot of volume here that sort of pushes the volumes forward for Volvo. One thing I want to change in the rear end is I wish we would extend the roof spoiler here a little bit so we could hide this little wiper underneath here. But you do have brake light up here, Volvo spelled out, as you can see, Polestar engineered. And look at this taillights, how stunning they are, how they follow the body of the vehicle itself, the sheet metal of the car. And we also have, of course, full LED indicators as well, reverse lights. We have Volvo here in the side, and how it then cuts in, very much like we have on the XC60. And this is one of these cars, if you are in the market for an XC60, for example, and you don't really take your car off-road that much, I would suggest you go and test drive the V60, because how this drives, I mean, the driving position in this is absolutely fantastic. You feel like the car is wrapped around you. You sit very low and sporty, and it's an extremely tight driving experience. Again, all the chamfers that we have in the front then comes back here. We have a nice chamfer here, chamfer going all the way down here as well, and we don't have any visible exhaust pipes for 2025. That is something that they removed, which is a shame. Definitely want to have the exhaust pipes visible on this vehicle right here. So let's open up the tailgate. You can see just how small it is. It's very compact in the rear. Give it a sporty look. You have this divider here, and underneath this area, we do have the charging cable, which is currently in my garage because I charged it overnight. You can see you can also 40-60 split there, and you have this little section here that you can open up if you have skis or something like that. You can slide them in there. You have a 12-volt cigarette outlet in that area and some netting right there, and that is pretty much it for the rear. You still have plenty of space here, even though it is a proper hybrid with a battery pack underneath, and also the rear e-motor, 147 horsepower e-motor on the rear axle. You still have, I mean, look at this, you still have plenty of space back here, no problems at all. This is, of course, power assisted. So let's close this back down. And last, just for the sake of it, for the beauty of this vehicle, let's just make one last walk around of this gorgeous looking design. Everything has a connection to it. If you follow one line in anywhere on the car, you can follow it and it's going to connect with some key graphics in the rest of the vehicle. Fantastic job by Volvo when it comes to designing this one. And I have fallen in love with this car, and I want one so bad. Maybe not the T8 Recharge Polestar. I mean, this is the one I really want, but for $71,000, it's a pretty expensive vehicle. Maybe a used V60 or something like that, or even the S60 looks great. But with that said, this interior is great as well. You just feel so cozy in here. So let's jump in and have a look at the interior of the 2025 Volvo V60 T8 Polestar Engineered. Now there are a couple of things in the interior, specifically feature-wise, that I feel you should have in a 2025 model year, but I don't care that we don't have them here, because other than that, this is such a perfect car for me. I mean, look at the center console here, the center armrest, how high up it sits and how low down you sit in this vehicle. I love the golden seat belts that we have going on here as well, and the bolstering for this Polestar version. Very tight bolstering here, also down here for your legs, looking absolutely stunning. You can adjust the seats, of course, power assisted here, as you can see. Door panels look great as well. Bowers & Wilkins sound system, memory seat settings, controls for the windows and the mirrors here as well. Cup holders all the way down there. Some nice material here, and also in the door handle. Look at the design of the door handle itself. Stepping in here, you have Volvo in this little area here. So let's jump in here. Let me show you what is a little bit strange about this interior. First of all, you see the range down there. You can see both the EV range, 18 miles at the moment, and you also have the regular gas range. And I love this integration of the gauge cluster. It's such a beautiful design. Sits very deep. You have the speedometer there. You have the sort of power and charge meter on that side. And it's wrapped in this stunning design up top. You have a head-up display as well, but it's a very minimalistic display. It's just you can have some other information on there, but I just like to keep it in the speed I'm having. So it's just one single digit up front. It's not too distracting at all. You have the speakers up here as well, looking beautiful. And check this out, we don't have a screen that sticks up or sticks out too far. This feels fantastically integrated in this design, in my opinion. I don't want a bigger screen than this. I mean, this is my preferred size when we have it integrated like this. You have beautiful vents on the side looking like airplane propellers right here, looking stunning. Now going into this system, what is a little bit strange with this system is that we don't have wireless Apple CarPlay. I mean, for $72,000, that is definitely something that I want to see included. This is wired Apple CarPlay, which it's not a big deal, but it's just something that I want to see. And another feature that we don't have is we don't have a wireless charging pad. That is also something I want to see. If you open this up, you can see that we don't have a lot of storage in general in this vehicle. You can see just how high up this area sits. You do have a couple of USB output, outlets right here, USB-C, and also a 12-volt cigarette outlet, but that's pretty much it when it comes to, the storage in here. So it's a very tight interior. There is not a lot of spaces where you can put big stuff, but that also makes this interior, I mean, look at how I'm sitting in here. The car is wrapped around me. I sit very low, and it feels very tight in here. I just love it. And then we have this big panoramic sunroof up top that I would probably want to keep closed to, emphasize this cozy feel even more. But this feels like an older style interior where everything is building up around you. The center armrest, it's a huge wall here. You're resting your arm on top of this massive piece, and then you have the dash also raising up, and the gauge cluster looking beautiful right in front of you. And we have this nice quality materials all over that you can, appreciate and feel what they feel like. In addition to this volume all right there, we do have the climate settings. We have heated seats and heated steering wheel in 3 different settings. Again, for $72,000, I probably will want to have ventilated seats as well. But that's personally not something I personally use any time. But I do understand that it would be nice to have that. And the 360 camera looks pretty decent as well. Nothing too crazy. You can go into the sides here. You can check out all the angles, front and back as well. And if you put it into reverse, of course, it's going to go into the reverse camera with the trajectory lines. Looking pretty clean. I mean, it's not the biggest camera, but still, you're going to see exactly what is behind you at all times. And another reason I love this interior is this Orrefors gear selector. I mean, this crystal here that says Orrefors Sweden. It's this glass maker place. It's a very famous place in Sweden. And I do love that they have this collaboration with Volvo to put this beautiful piece in a lot of Volvo models. It just feels like it's something special about this vehicle. Now going into the settings here, we can check out for example, the climate settings, what that looks like. It's so simple, this integration of climate settings. You have where the air wants to come out from right here, and you have the fan speed right there as well. We can go into and check air quality. So we see the in-car air quality and the outside pollen and outside air quality as well. Very interesting stats that you have there, and that is pretty much it. If you want to navigate, you can either plug in your phone, but you also have Google navigation here. So this works pretty well. This is then going to pop up right here in the middle of the gauge cluster. So this, even though you don't have wireless CarPlay, you can still make it work almost as if you were having wireless CarPlay, and you can also, of course, connect your phone via Bluetooth wireless if you want to listen to music or something like that. This is the start button right here, so you just twist it to turn it off, and twist it again. I'm turning it back on right here. You have the parking brake, auto hold for red lights, and then you have this key looking very beautiful. You have the Swedish flag there, a couple of buttons on the side. You have open the trunk, lock, unlock, unlock, and this is just to pull out the key. And looking at these seats, again, Sweden coming back here, love to see it, these small little details, and also this beautiful Polestar golden seat belts looking stunning. The seats themselves, extremely comfortable. Seats is something that Volvo has been doing, one of the best manufacturers when it comes to seats since 2001, the Volvo V60 when that first came out. Everyone who sat in those seats, they just, what is going on here? These are the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in. And ever since then, they've always been on top when it comes to seat designs. You also have a glove box here, pretty big glove box, to be honest. And looking at the steering wheel, a lot of gloss plastic here that I'm not a huge fan of, but you can't really customize the screen. You can have it in this quiet mode right there, where it's sort of minimal, or you can bring up the map in the middle, and that is pretty much it. Then you have the cruise control settings here, voice command as well, some radio settings on this area. Now if you go into the gear selector, you see that we have a B down. I like to keep it in this setting right there, in B. That means that you do have regen braking, almost you can almost use it at one pedal driving. To me, it just makes sense when you have an electric motor and battery. You just want to recharge it as much as possible, so I like to keep it in B. And when we take this for a drive, I'm also going to put it in Polestar later on. We have these drive modes here. For example, let me show you these. We have the hybrid, Polestar, pure, and constant all-wheel drive. Now, if you want to, you can have it always start the car in pure. That means that it's always going to use all the electric range first. I like to keep it in hybrid though, so it sort of charges the battery. Sometimes it prefers to use the electric range first, no matter what drive mode you're in, except for when you're in Polestar. If you click this, you're gonna hear the engine firing up. And now it feels like a proper sports car when you're driving. It's so tight, and the steering gets a little heavy. I just love the way this drives in Polestar mode. It's a fantastic driving experience. Now looking at the vents here, looking beautiful as well, and we have a couple of more buttons here for the fuel cap and the trunk as well to open that up. Not sure why it's a sedan there. It should be a wagon for that little logo. So with that said, let's jump in. I think we talked about everything in the front end. So let's jump in and check out the back seat. Let me show you what that looks like and how I fit back here, being 6'1", 6'2". Similar door design to what we have in the front end. And let's jump in here. Let's just move this thing, put it down there. We do have heated seats back here in 3 different levels, as you can see right there, and then also a couple of USB-Cs right there, beautiful to see. You can fold this down. We have a couple of cup holders right here in the front end if you just push that out, and then you also have this piece that you can open up. The space back here is great. I wouldn't expect anything else. Even though it is a smaller wagon from Volvo, I still have, as you can see, plenty. I mean, I have tons of space here, and this is pretty interesting to see, because if you look at the outside design of this, it feels very tight, very sporty, sloping roofline, but I mean, headspace is one of the best. You know, I have so much headspace here. It's a really great design, and in addition to that, we also have a battery pack underneath this vehicle. So the engineering that went into this to make it look this good and have this great, you know, space in the back seat, it's a fantastic job again by Volvo. So with that said, let's take this for a drive and let me show you what this is all about. Alright guys, it's time. This is again one of these cars that, you know, when you're driving this around, and with this Polestar bumpy suspension here, very high performance, very sporty and tight suspension on this car. I love how this drives, I really do. But this again is one of these cars that when you're driving it around, you know you're doing everybody a favor that sees this car, because it is such a stunning, beautiful machine and piece of art. Compare that to this Subaru Ascent or Outback that we have right there. Still a cool looking car. It's a wagon, lifted wagon. When it comes to styling though, it's got nothing on this car right here. So we're starting out. Let's see what drive mode we're in right now. We're in hybrid. I think hybrid is probably the one that you're gonna have it in the most, because when you have it in pure and you only use the electric range, that means that it's going to use the electric range pretty quickly, and then you go straight into gas, of course. It's supposed to be sunny today. It was sunny this morning. I was out playing tennis, and now it feels like it's about to start snowing, maybe? They said Tuesday might have some snow. The driving position in here is also something that is so great with this vehicle. I feel like I sit down inside of the car. We talked about this quickly when we talked about the interior design. I feel like everything is building up around me. The door panel, you can see just how high up. It's above my shoulder line. It's higher than my shoulder. Greenhouse is very tight, and the console here builds up in front of me. Same goes with this center portion here, armrest, just how high it is. So I feel like I'm sitting inside of this tub, and everything is just around me, making it feel very cozy, and also gives me this sporty feel that I'm sitting very deep down in the vehicle itself. It gives me confidence when driving this vehicle. I do like the head-up display in this case as well, because it's just numbers. It's just, you know, digits. 21, 22, the speed you're doing. If you want to, you can add more features onto that head-up display, but it's not too big. It's not too distracting either. And the overall interior here, I love it. I just wish we had, you know, for $72,000, you kind of want to have a wireless charging pad and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but that's not something you get with Volvo. The climate settings here is pretty interesting too. You can't have 71 degrees of temp. You gotta have either 70 or 72. So it's in two steps. You got 74, 72, 70, 68, 66. You can't have an odd number for your temperature. That's very important to keep in mind. If you're very specific with your temperatures, this might not be the car for you. You might get annoyed at that. I'm not entirely sure, but we're coming out to this main road here, and then we're gonna put it into Polestar, and of course we're gonna floor it a little bit with this 455 horsepower powertrain that we have, 523 pound-feet of torque. Just a fantastic powertrain. So let's go in, fire up the engine here. Polestar comes to life, looking great, sounding great. Oh yeah, oh yes. It's so interesting that Volvo built a performance wagon like this. It feels, you know, when I think back to the Volvos I grew up with, the 740, the 240, you know, depending on where you come from, depending on where you grow up, I don't know, specifically if you're a car enthusiast, you have these memories of these old cars. You have, and they bring back a smell, they bring back a feel, you know, specifically in a cold temperature. When you have a cold Volvo 245 wagon, you fire it up in the middle of the winter at night, everything is quiet outside, you have the yellow street lights with the big snowflakes, you know, slowly coming down to the, falling down to the ground. It just brings back a lot of memories, and the memories I have of Volvo wagons growing up is not the one that we have here. Because this is not a Volvo 240 anymore. This is a proper performance wagon, and it's sits so tight on the ground. It feels so planted in this Polestar drive mode. It's an absolute joy to drive. Absolute joy to drive. And this is the reason why I say every single time, if you're in the market for an XC60 and you love driving, you know, you enjoy driving, you have to go and test drive the V60. It doesn't have to be the Polestar, the T8. It can be a lower trim. It's still gonna feel a lot more planted than if you were to go and buy the XC60 like everybody else does. This one, I love the powertrain as well, that we do have the capability. We can have it like this, like a proper sports car. Or if you want to, you can also switch it and all of a sudden it becomes just a regular old EV. You're not even using the internal combustion engine anymore. But it is such a shame that Volvo is discontinuing this vehicle, because people simply here in the States, they don't buy wagons, and that I feel like I'm on a mission to change that. I want people to get more, to get into wagons more, and I want them to be more of an option for people who are considering buying an SUV, which is probably 80% of new car buyers today. I want to give them the option, or at least open up the possibility to them, that these type of cars are out there, and I just want to get more people into them, driving them like I'm doing right here. You can't do this with an XC60. Even if it's a T8 Polestar engineered XC60, it's not going to handle nowhere near as good as this one. And that, again, is the reason why I love wagons. We have the practicality of an SUV, but the driving characteristics of a sports car. This is one of these cars that, you know, for a daily, I can't think of a better vehicle than this for a daily. It does so many things so well, and it has so many different personalities that it can satisfy your driving needs no matter what they are. And also, when it comes to the practicality, again, you do have the storage space to bring with you everything you want. There's no lack of storage space. It is a tight package still, but the back seat, as I showed you in the interior, still has plenty of space back there. No problems whatsoever. I would probably go for the V60 if I was in the market for this instead of the S60, even though both of them are fantastic vehicles and they look so good still today. Both of them discontinued here in the US, so if I want one, I'm gonna have to go back to 2018 up to 2024, I do believe. This one being a 2025 model year though, so I do think that 2025 is going to be the final model year for this vehicle here in the United States. The brakes are great as well. Polestar, those golden brake calipers definitely do their job here. If you want an XC60, all I gotta say is go drive a V60 first, and just for the heck of it, see what you think of it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.